Beyond textbooks and historical records, whispers exist. Whispers of a past so profound, so utterly baffling, that they leave modern minds reeling. We live on a planet steeped in secrets, a tapestry woven with forgotten civilizations, structures that defy logic, and artifacts that shouldn't exist. These are not the fleeting tales of campfire folklore. These are tangible enigmas, documented by the very archaeologists and historians who strive to unravel them. Colossal stone blocks, moved by unknown means. Entire cities swallowed by the relentless march of time, lying silent beneath the ocean. Today, we embark on a journey not just through history, but into the very heart of the unexplained, where the rules of reality sometimes bend and the past refuses to be confined by our understanding. Prepare yourself, for the world is far stranger than you can imagine. So, fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. The Giant of Castelnau. Now, prepare to question the very limits of human stature. In the quiet winter of the year 1890, in a small village called Castelnau-le-Mont, the anthropologist Georges Vacher de Lapouge unearthed 3 enormous bone fragments from a Bronze Age burial mound. These fragments, he declared, belonged to a human who stood over 11 feet tall, a height that far surpasses every conventional standard of our species. Was this truly evidence of a race of giants that once walked the earth, or merely the result of a strange and improbable mistake? When Georges Vacher de Lapouge began his archaeological work in Castelnau, he never expected to encounter such remarkable remains. He discovered a section of a femur, part of a tibia, and a piece believed to be from an arm bone. The measurements, published in the prestigious journal La Nature in the year 1890, showed these bones were twice the size of modern human bones. The femur alone measured 14 centimeters across, with a circumference of 16 centimeters. The tibia was 26 centimeters long, and the arm fragment was unusually large. Based on these calculations, Lapouge estimated the individual must have stood a staggering 3.5 meters, 11.5 feet, tall, and weighed several hundred kilograms. He went so far as to insist that these were unquestionably human bones, despite their extraordinary size. The fragments were later sent to the University of Montpellier for expert analysis. Leading figures in zoology, paleontology, and anatomy all agreed the bones belonged to a very tall race, though they also noted the possibility of pathological growth. Just a few years later, further reports emerged of giant skulls and large bone fragments discovered near Molières, believed to have come from people between 10 and 15 feet tall. These remains were sent to the French Academy of Sciences, but afterward, they vanished without a trace, leaving modern science unable to follow their trail. The Castelnau mystery only deepened as modern scholars began to question the origin of these bones. In the year 2022, anthropologist Catherine Haken proposed they might have simply been the bones of a giant bear that once roamed prehistoric Europe. In the 19th century, it was not uncommon for large animal bones to be mistaken for human remains, especially when anatomical knowledge was still limited. But if these were merely animal bones, why did the Montpellier experts of that time confirm them as human? And why, to this day, has no modern study ever re-examined these fragments? The story of the Giant of Castelnau is not merely a question for archaeology. It opens a doorway into the realm of myth and legend. From the Cyclops of ancient Greece to the Nephilim in the Bible, almost every culture has tales of giants who once walked the earth. In Castelnau itself, villagers still speak of a cave that once sheltered a giant, and 19th century newspapers claimed that Lapouge's discovery might be the key to unraveling those ancient legends. Some have even speculated that these bones are traces of a lost civilization or perhaps of extraterrestrial visitors, though no scientific evidence has ever been produced. The world of archaeology is not without its hoaxes and exaggerations, often driven by religious or financial motives. The Cardiff Giant, a stone statue buried to fool the American public in the year 1869, is one famous example. Yet, the fact that leading experts in Montpellier examined and verified the Castelnau bones in the year 1890 makes the hoax theory harder to accept in this particular case. Still, The most compelling evidence against truly gigantic human remains lies in the natural process of bone growth. Extreme gigantism in humans is usually caused by pathological conditions like acromegaly, which leads to disproportionate growth and severe health issues, making survival in ancient, harsh environments highly unlikely for an individual of that size. The possibility of bare bones, or even exaggerated reporting from the era, remains a strong counter-argument given the lack of re-examination. Today, the bones that once shocked the world have disappeared from all collections, their whereabouts unknown, and they have never been re-examined with modern technology. The question of the Giant of Castelnau's origin remains unanswered. If such a being truly existed, why has no further evidence ever surfaced in a region so rich in archaeological sites? And if it is all just legend, why does the story endure, continuing to challenge the curiosity of humankind? Its legacy is a haunting intersection of science and folklore, a reminder that the line between documented history and ancient myth can sometimes blur into an unresolvable riddle. The Longyou Caves Complex. Hidden deep beneath the lush green rice fields of Longyou County, Zhejiang Province, China, lies one of the greatest archaeological mysteries ever encountered by modern history. It is known as the Longyou Caves Complex. Imagine an entire underground city, not built brick by brick, but carved with breathtaking precision from solid rock, its purpose and creators utterly lost to time. The story of Longyou began entirely by chance in the summer of the year 1992, when a local farmer decided to drain the water from a large natural pit near his home to expand it. He had no idea that beneath the still surface of the water lay a vast space, a massive cavern with perfectly flat walls covered in evenly carved patterns that seemed as if they had been made by modern machinery. This discovery sparked immense curiosity and excitement throughout the village. The locals continued to pump water from other pits nearby, and soon, before their eyes, appeared an entire underground city of more than 20 interconnected caves. What makes Longyou a mystery that defies every theory is the sheer perfection of its engineering and scale. Each cave rises more than 30 meters high, with walls that have been smoothed and sculpted to a flawless finish. The domed ceilings and pillars are laid out in precise harmony, and every surface is covered with parallel, wave-like carvings, running in unbroken lines from the ceilings to the stone floors. Yet, here is the chilling part. No human remains or artifacts have ever been found. Nothing to indicate that any community ever lived or labored here. Who built the Longyou Caves? According to archaeologists, based on the erosion of the stone and other geological factors, the complex could be more than 2,000 years old, dating to the Qin or early Han dynasty. And yet, not a single ancient Chinese chronicle makes any mention of Longyou. How could such a massive undertaking vanish entirely from the historical record? Many theories have been proposed, but each one only leads to more unanswered questions. Some suggest the caves were ancient granaries, wartime shelters, or even forgotten royal tombs. A few Western researchers lean toward the idea that Longyou was a sacred site or perhaps a secret ceremonial center. Most striking of all, the nearly identical carved patterns in every single cave suggest that the project was executed under unified direction, using skills that far exceeded the standards of any known ancient civilization. Could this be the legacy of a civilization we have never known, or the product of construction techniques now lost to time, beyond the imagination of the modern world? The sheer volume of rock removed, an estimated 1 million cubic meters, would have required continuous labor for many years, demanding a level of social organization and engineering prowess not typically associated with the proposed historical periods without any documentation. Today, the Longyou caves still lie quietly beneath the farmland. They stand as a testament to the creative power and the enduring mysteries of those who came before us. And until some deeper secret is revealed, the Longyou caves will remain a reminder that human history is filled with unwritten pages, unanswered questions, and a quest to understand the true origins and meaning of wonders like Longyou that will continue to captivate generations of explorers. The megalithic stones of Baalbek, hidden within the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon, once a crossroads for ancient civilizations, the old town of Baalbek has long stood at the center of one of the greatest architectural mysteries in human history. Upon arriving here, no one could suspect that behind these age-old ruins lie stone blocks so enormous that their size and weight defy both the imagination and the limits of modern engineering. At the heart of this enigma are the three famous stones known as the Trilithon. Each block is nearly 20 meters long, over 4 meters high, and weighs between 750 and 800 tons. To put it in perspective, each stone is as large as a Boeing airliner. These massive blocks are stacked atop one another, forming the foundation for the legendary Temple of Jupiter, a structure built by the Romans in the 1st century AD. Yet, the sheer weight and scale of these stones far surpass anything the Roman civilization was thought to be capable of. There is no record of any Roman lifting device or construction tool capable of moving stones of such staggering mass. Not far away, right at an ancient quarry, even larger blocks have been found. Among them is the stone of the pregnant woman, weighing nearly 1,000 tons, another block weighing 1,242 tons, and most remarkably, in the year 2014, archaeologists uncovered a stone weighing a staggering 1,650 tons, regarded as the largest stone block ever known to mankind. Strikingly, these giant stones remain in the quarry, posing a tremendous question about the true intentions and capabilities of the ancients. The core paradox of Baalbek is the impossible logistics. The Romans, renowned for their engineering, had cranes capable of lifting 60 to 100 tons at most. How then did they manage to lift and precisely place blocks many times heavier? There is no evidence they ever used a coordinated system of machines to solve this challenge. Furthermore, the quarry where the largest stones still lie is several kilometers away from the temple site. Moving such immense weights over uneven terrain, uphill, without the wheel, would have been an incomprehensible feat, even for modern technology. Numerous theories have been put forth to explain the mystery of Baalbek. Some researchers believe the Romans used wooden rollers and earthen ramps to transport the stones from the quarry to the construction site. Yet, this theory quickly reveals its weakness when confronted with the immense weight. For this reason, many scholars now believe that the foundation of the Temple of Jupiter actually predates the Romans, perhaps belonging to a civilization much older and more advanced. They point to striking similarities between Baalbek and other megalithic structures around the world, such as the Sacsayhuaman fortress in Peru and the Egyptian pyramids, hinting at a forgotten, global building technique. Could it be that ancient humanity possessed technologies far beyond what we know today? More radical theories suggest the involvement of extraterrestrial intelligence, or even lost ancient giants, capable of manipulating stone on an unimaginable scale. However, concrete evidence for these more fantastical claims remains elusive. Despite decades of research, the secret of the giant stones at Baalbek remains unresolved. There are no ancient records describing how this feat was accomplished. The tools used have left no trace. All that remains are the silent stones themselves, defying the passage of time and resisting every effort humanity has made to unlock their mystery. They stand as a testament to an inexplicable mastery of stone, leaving future generations to wonder about the true capabilities of our distant ancestors. The Codex Gigas, Devil's Bible. Within the archives of Sweden's National Library lies one of the most haunting and enigmatic manuscripts ever crafted by human hands. The Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible. Regarded as the largest surviving medieval manuscript, the Codex Gigas astonishes not only with its colossal size, but also with the dark and chilling legends that have surrounded it for nearly 800 years. The manuscript weighs nearly 75 kilograms, 165 pounds, measures 92 centimeters, 36 inches long, 50 centimeters, 20 inches, wide, and 22 centimeters, 8.6 inches, thick. It is so large that even a grown adult must use both arms just to move it. Experts estimate that it would have taken hundreds of sheets of calf skin to produce its massive pages. But its size is not the only thing that makes the Codex Gigas famous. What truly elevates it to legend are the stories of curses and supernatural powers that have become attached to the book. According to a legend passed down since the 13th century, the manuscript was written by a Benedictine monk in Bohemia, now part of the Czech Republic. This monk had committed a terrible crime and was sentenced to be walled up alive in the monastery, a punishment among the most horrifying of the Middle Ages. Desperate and terrified, he pleaded for his life, promising that if given one night, he could produce a manuscript containing all human knowledge, from the Bible to the sciences of history, medicine, and magic. Knowing the task was impossible for any mortal, the monk is said to have made a plea to the devil. According to legend, Satan himself appeared and helped him finish the manuscript in a single night in exchange for the monk's soul. In gratitude, the monk painted a gigantic portrait of the devil in the very center of the book, a demonic image unlike anything seen in any other biblical manuscript on Earth. Yet, this story is only legend. In reality, researchers have determined that the Codex Gigas was completed in the early 13th century at the Baalbek monastery. But what continues to astonish modern scholars is the perfect consistency of handwriting and style across all 620 pages. It appears as though the book was written by a single hand, possibly over many years, an incredible feat of endurance and precision for a medieval scribe. Inside the Codex Gigas is not only the entire Latin Bible, but also texts on history, anatomy, magic, astrology, and even catalogs of demons and spells. Most striking of all is the enormous illustration of Satan with glowing eyes, a red tongue, and razor-sharp claws, positioned in the middle of the manuscript. This image has convinced many that the book is cursed and that whoever possesses it is doomed to misfortune or catastrophe. Over the centuries, the Devil's Bible has witnessed countless upheavals. It was once seized by Swedish forces as a prize during the 30 Years' War and taken to Stockholm in the year 1648, where it remains preserved to this day. There are tales that wherever the manuscript appears, disaster follows, disease, war, or even the collapse of dynasties. While mainstream historians attribute these misfortunes to coincidence or the turbulent times the book lived through, the persistent folklore maintains its chilling aura. Today, the Codex Gigas continues to draw thousands of scholars, theologians, and mystery seekers from all over the world. Its incredible size and the sheer breadth of its content are a marvel. But the central question remains: how was such a monumental work produced with such flawless consistency, by a single hand, in an era of limited resources and time? And what truly inspired the terrifying depiction of the devil at its heart? Until the Codex Gigas is fully deciphered and its true origins understood, it will remain a symbol of obsession, curiosity, and the endless quest to uncover secrets that humanity has yet to understand. Göbekli Tepe. Buried beneath the parched soil and stony hills of the Anatolian Plateau in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe remained silent and forgotten by history until the end of the 20th century. In the year 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt struck the earth with his first shovel at this spot, no one could have imagined he was about to shake the very foundations of what we thought we knew about human history. For what gradually emerged at Göbekli Tepe left the world in awe. Hidden deep underground were massive circles of limestone pillars, each column rising up to 6 meters tall and weighing dozens of tons. Even more astonishing is the age of this site, more than 11,000 years old. This means it predates the invention of the wheel, the discovery of agriculture, and even the use of metal. It is a relic older than both the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge. These T-shaped pillars are not only monumental in size, but are also intricately carved with depictions of animals, lions, wild cattle, foxes, snakes, as well as countless abstract symbols. Every carving reads like a silent story, a testament to the worldview, beliefs, and imagination of prehistoric communities. The sheer sophistication of the work has left researchers questioning who conceived, designed, and built such a colossal wonder. The greatest paradox is that Göbekli Tepe is believed to have been built by groups of hunter-gatherers, societies long thought to be scattered and incapable of organizing such a monumental project. This very discovery has forced scientists to rethink the connection between religion, belief, and the rise of complex societies. It challenges the long-held notion that agriculture came first, leading to settled communities and then complex religious structures. Göbekli Tepe suggests the opposite. A massive, coordinated effort for spiritual reasons may have preceded and perhaps even driven the development of agriculture. Even stranger, around 8000 BC, the ancient builders deliberately buried the temple, as if determined to seal its secrets away forever. That mysterious decision is what allowed the site to remain almost perfectly preserved for thousands of years. While the hunter-gatherer theory is widely accepted, the implications are still being debated. Some scholars propose that the need to build and maintain such a site fostered the social organization and resource management necessary for the eventual development of agriculture. Others suggest that the site might have been a pilgrimage center, drawing disparate groups together, leading to cultural exchange and innovation. The discovery of numerous animal bones at the site, particularly from wild game, supports the idea of a hunter-gatherer society, but the sheer amount of effort involved in quarrying, moving, and carving the megaliths still puzzles experts. No evidence of large-scale settlements or residential structures has been found, reinforcing the idea of a ceremonial rather than a living site. Today, as Göbekli Tepe's ancient stones are brought into the light for the first time in millennia, they do more than rewrite our understanding of the past. They raise a host of questions that have yet to be answered. Could it be that human history is far deeper and more complex than we ever imagined? How many more secrets still slumber beneath the earth, waiting to be discovered? Its legacy is not just archaeological, but philosophical, forcing us to redefine what it means to be civilized and how our ancestors truly began their journey towards complex societies. The White Pyramid of China. Hidden beneath the dust of centuries in Shaanxi province, China, the White Pyramid stands as one of the greatest enigmas that modern archaeology has ever faced. The stories surrounding it are not mere legends, but living symbols of our relentless urge to explore and of our deep frustration before mysteries that remain unsolved. A structure so immense, so striking, that its very existence has been officially downplayed, raising more questions than answers. The tale begins in the year 1945, when American pilot James Gaussman, during a transport flight over the northwestern mountains of China, reported seeing a colossal pyramid in the valley below. Its 4 faces, he claimed, gleamed white in a way that seemed almost impossible to believe. Just 2 years later, in the year 1947, another pilot named Maurice Shahan confirmed Gaussman's account and even managed to take a few blurry black and white photos of the mysterious structure. When these images and reports reached the West, they caused a sensation among archaeologists and in the global media. Yet, as the war ended, China's borders gradually closed to foreign researchers. The area said to be the location of the White Pyramid came under strict control. Only a handful of local scholars were ever allowed to investigate, and official reports claimed these were nothing more than earthen burial mounds for ancient emperors, built between the Qin and Tang dynasties. The Chinese authorities insisted that no White Pyramid of extraordinary dimensions, as described by American pilots, truly existed. Even so, in recent decades, satellite images released by both Western and Russian sources have revealed pyramid-like structures scattered throughout Shaanxi. Some rise from 50 to over 100 meters tall, much larger than the pyramids of Egypt. One remarkable detail is the legend of the shining white surface. Local traditions tell that the structure was once covered in a layer of pure white limestone or clay, which reflected the sun and made it stand out against the gray backdrop of the surrounding mountains. Some Western scholars have compared it to the Great Pyramid of Giza and even claimed the White Pyramid's estimated height of 300 meters and a base perimeter of more than 450 meters would surpass the wonders of Egypt. Who then built this immense structure, and for what purpose? Theories about the White Pyramid are as diverse and mysterious as the monument itself. Some archaeologists believe it was merely the burial mound of Chinese emperors, built as a statement of absolute power. Yet, those drawn to mystery suggest that the White Pyramid is a relic of an ancient civilization now lost, one that predates the recorded history of China itself. More radical theories claim that the White Pyramid once served as a religious center or an astronomical site, much like the pyramids of the Maya, or even as an ancient observatory. They point to the way many pyramids in Shaanxi seem to be aligned with certain constellations, echoing the arrangement of the pyramids in Egypt. Some have even linked these structures to extraterrestrial civilizations, an idea as fascinating as it is unproven. Yet all these theories run up against one immovable fact. To this day, no one outside the Chinese archaeological community has been allowed full access to excavate or rigorously study these pyramids. Many tombs remain abandoned, for there is a Chinese belief that one should not disturb the emperor's slumber, lest disaster befall you. This only makes the White Pyramid a more powerful symbol of prohibition, a place where the boundary between reality and legend is still unbroken. Today, satellite images and covert expeditions have only increased the allure of the White Pyramid. It is not only a forgotten wonder, but a challenge to all who long to reach the hidden layers of human history. Could it be that beneath that shroud of earth and stone lies an unwritten chapter of civilization? And will the day ever come when that secret door is opened, allowing the world to truly behold the monumental structure that once stood on the banks of the Yellow River? The Black Sarcophagus of Alexandria, among the most sensational archaeological discoveries of the 21st century in Egypt, nothing compares to the frenzy ignited by the Black Sarcophagus in the summer of the year 2018. It emerged from the ancient soil of Alexandria, a city once hailed as the cultural, intellectual, and political heart of the ancient Mediterranean. This isn't just a coffin, it's a monumental puzzle, a sealed container of secrets that captivated the world with its dark allure and unsettling contents. It all began at an ordinary construction site on Al-Khaili Street in Alexandria. As workers dug the foundations for a new building, they unexpectedly unearthed a massive stone block buried deep in the earth. Archaeologists were immediately summoned to the scene. After clearing away nearly 5 meters of soil and rubble, what emerged before them was a rectangular coffin made entirely of black granite, almost 2.7 meters long, 1.5 meters wide, over 1.8 meters tall, and weighing nearly 30 tons. It was larger than almost any sarcophagus ever found in Alexandria, or indeed anywhere in Egypt. Next to it was an alabaster bust, its face worn smooth with age, leaving the true identity of the tomb's owner an even greater enigma. Where royal or noble coffins are typically adorned with hieroglyphs, carvings, or paintings recounting names, titles, or achievements, this black sarcophagus was completely bare, except for a plaster seal eroded away by centuries. This anonymity only fueled speculation. Was this the secret grave of a significant figure, or someone whose role in turbulent history had to be hidden from future generations? Rumors and conspiracy theories swirled. Some whispered that this could be the final resting place of Alexander the Great, the legendary king who founded the city itself, whose body has been missing for over 2 millennia. Was there an ancient curse inside the sarcophagus, like the legends that surrounded so many Egyptian tombs since Carter's discovery of Tutankhamun? Curiosity peaked in July of the year 2018 when experts decided to open the sarcophagus. Due to its enormous size and depth, the operation required modern lifting equipment and strict safety measures to guard against toxic gases or biological hazards. When the lid was finally pried open, those present held their breath. Inside was neither an intact mummy, as many had hoped, nor any treasure. Instead, a foul stench filled the air, the result of filthy water seeping in over thousands of years, mixing with decomposing bodies to form a thick, reddish-brown liquid. Bizarre rumors quickly spread. Some even asked for permission to drink the sarcophagus water in hopes of gaining supernatural power, forcing Egyptian authorities to issue health warnings to the public. Forensic analysis soon revealed 3 skeletons inside, stacked atop one another, 2 men and a woman. There was no trace of royalty, no gold or precious burial goods. Skull fractures on one individual suggested death from violence or warfare, while tests on teeth, bones, and carbon dating placed the remains around the 4th century BC, the early Ptolemaic era, when Alexandria was among the world's most prosperous cities. What puzzled scientists was why such a rare, enormous, and expensive granite sarcophagus would be used for 3 ordinary individuals buried without ceremony, with no inscription. Some theorized they might have been members of a forgotten noble family, soldiers who died in chaos, or high officials deliberately erased from history for political reasons. Others wondered if a taboo related to religion had forced their names to be erased forever. The use of black granite for the sarcophagus is itself remarkable. This stone would have had to be transported from Aswan, hundreds of miles south of Alexandria, a feat requiring enormous resources and money. The true reason for using such precious, enduring stone for an anonymous tomb remains a mystery. Could it be a collective burial of individuals deemed unmentionable or cursed by subsequent regimes? The forensic evidence points to ordinary individuals, yet the monument itself screams importance. The discovery of the Black Sarcophagus is not just an archaeological event, it is proof that history always finds ways to bury its strangest tales and forgotten lives. Right in the heart of a city once called the Jewel of the East, it stands as a reminder that even after thousands of tombs and treasures have been unearthed, Egypt still holds countless secrets slumbering beneath the ground. Its legacy is a chilling narrative of how powerful secrets can be, even in death, and how sometimes the most mundane answers can leave the most profound questions. The Piri Reis Map. Amidst the Mediterranean sea breeze of the 16th century, a great mystery quietly appeared on the old parchment of a Turkish cartographer. It was the Piri Reis Map, a historical legacy that is both strange and challenges all the understanding of the modern world. Drawn in the year 1513 by Admiral Piri Reis, this map has astonished researchers for hundreds of years, not only because of its accuracy, but also because of details that seem to go far beyond the scientific capabilities of the Middle Ages. The Piri Reis Map today remains only 1/3 of its original, but that remaining part alone is enough to make scholars from both the West and the East rack their brains in thought. On the Piri Reis Map appear the western coast of Africa, the eastern coast of South America, and most astonishingly, the northernmost part of Antarctica, a continent that would not be discovered by modern humans for more than 3 centuries. But even stranger are the details on the map, which show Antarctica not covered in ice, as if the author had drawn it before the last ice age. The mystery begins with Piri Reis's own notes. He claimed that he had relied on more than 20 ancient maps from the Greek and Roman eras, and even some said to be from Columbus. However, not a single one of these maps can explain the astonishing accuracy of the coastlines or the appearance of Antarctica before it was covered in ice. The most glaring paradox of the Piri Reis Map is its alleged depiction of Antarctica's coastline without ice, particularly the Queen Maud Land region. Geological data suggests this area has been ice-covered for millions of years, certainly long before any known civilization with mapping capabilities. If Piri Reis indeed drew a map of a pre-glacial Antarctica, it implies access to ancient knowledge far beyond what we attribute to any historical civilization. How could a 16th century Ottoman admiral draw such accurate geographical features at a time when surveying tools and knowledge of the world were still so limited? Was there truly a prehistoric civilization capable of global mapping? Or is this simply a random coincidence of history? Many theories have been proposed to explain this mystery. Some researchers believe that Piri Reis inherited ancient knowledge that modern humanity has long forgotten, even going so far as to ask whether the civilization of Atlantis once existed and possessed surveying techniques far ahead of its time. Others believe the map is simply the result of patchwork and exaggeration passed down by word of mouth and the imagination of sailors. Skeptics argue that the Antarctica on the map is merely a misinterpretation of South American coastlines or a speculative landmass. They point out that despite its supposed accuracy, the map also contains significant inaccuracies in other regions. Furthermore, the idea of a pre-glacial Antarctica is not universally accepted by geologists, who have differing opinions on the timing of ice sheet formation in that specific region. The lack of any other supporting evidence for an advanced ancient global civilization makes the lost knowledge theory highly speculative. The truth has not yet been solved. The Piri Reis Map is not just an ancient document, but also a mirror reflecting the limits of human perception. Even though the answer remains unanswered, the map of Piri Reis still lies silently in the Topkapi Museum in Istanbul, as a challenge left to all future generations. It does not just tell the story of the bravery of those who sailed the seas, but is also evidence of the power of curiosity, the thirst for discovery, and the mysteries that humanity has yet to reach. The vanished Clovis people. The story of the Clovis people began in the 1930s, when archaeologists discovered unique and sophisticated stone spear points at a site near the city of Clovis, New Mexico. These sharp points, quickly determined to date back around 13,000 years, served as proof of the existence of an advanced and mysterious hunting culture in North America. But then, within just a few hundred years, the Clovis culture suddenly vanished from all archaeological records. The Clovis people are regarded as masters of stone technology, with weapon-making techniques so advanced that even today, modern researchers still have much to learn from them. They survived by hunting large animals that are now extinct, such as mammoths, North American camels, and giant deer, and used sharp tools to endure the harsh conditions at the end of the Ice Age. Their distinctive fluted projectile points, found across North America, define their archaeological footprint, indicating a widespread and successful adaptation to the post-glacial environment. For decades, the Clovis first theory dominated, suggesting they were the earliest human inhabitants of the Americas, crossing the Bering Land Bridge. The core enigma of the Clovis people is their abrupt disappearance. After thriving across a continent, seemingly masters of their environment, they vanish. Scientists are still actively debating the real reason for their collapse. The geological record around 12,900 years ago points to a period of rapid and intense environmental change, the Younger Dryas, where temperatures plunged back into glacial conditions for over 1,000 years. This dramatic shift, occurring right at the tail end of the Clovis era, presents a compelling, yet still debated, explanation for their fate. Some theories suggest that dramatic climate change at the end of the Ice Age, with rising temperatures and rapidly shifting environments, led to the extinction of the large animals on which the Clovis depended, dragging this group into ruin as well. Other researchers believe that the Clovis encountered a meteorite disaster, as evidence of cosmic glass, carbon dust, and widespread wildfires has been found at many ancient sites dating to the same period. This Younger Dryas impact hypothesis posits a catastrophic extraterrestrial event as the cause. However, this theory is highly contentious, with many scientists arguing that the evidence is inconclusive and could be explained by other natural phenomena. Furthermore, the rise of pre-Clovis sites, like Monteverde in Chile, now suggests that humans were in the Americas long before the Clovis people, complicating the narrative of their unique arrival and subsequent disappearance. This indicates that other human populations were already present, potentially offering different survival strategies or adaptations. Was it a meteor impact that wiped out this culture in an instant? Or did the Clovis people actually migrate to other lands? The question of the origin and final fate of the Clovis people is not just an American mystery, but a story shared by all of humanity. It is a reminder of the fragility of civilizations and of their ability to adapt or collapse when faced with the harsh changes of nature. The disappearance of the Clovis people is a warning that even a thriving civilization can vanish without a trace, leaving behind only small fragments for future generations to seek meaning. Today, as archaeologists continue to excavate sites and analyze every fragment of earth and stone, the story of the Clovis people remains an endless source of inspiration for scientists, writers, and anyone fascinated by the exploration of history. It urges us to ask profound questions about life and about the inevitable decline that every civilization in the world must eventually face. The Rohonc Codex. Hidden away in the archives of a small library in Hungary lies a strange book that has confounded scholars for nearly 2 centuries. This is the Rohonc Codex, a mysterious manuscript that even to this day, no one in the world has been able to read or even truly understand what it is actually recording. It's a linguistic ghost, a silent testament to a forgotten language or an elaborate deception. The book was discovered in the early 19th century in the town of Rohonc. On its rough, time-stained pages, over 400 manuscript leaves appear, filled with characters unlike any writing system ever known. This script contains thousands of unique symbols, none of which have ever appeared in any language or ancient script. The mystery of the Rohonc Codex is deepened by the presence of more than 80 illustrations within the book, depicting scenes of daily life, religious rituals, warfare, and even figures laden with religious symbolism. Some of the images seem reminiscent of Christianity, yet they are blended with elements of Islam and paganism, making the origin and meaning even more complicated to unravel. Who is the author of this book? Why invent such an enigmatic script? And what was the book truly trying to convey to future generations? The ultimate paradox of the Rohonc Codex is its apparent perfect consistency. Despite its length, the script maintains a uniform style, suggesting a single author or a highly standardized system. Yet, every attempt to decipher it has failed. Its characters do not align with any known linguistic structures, alphabetical systems, or even pictographic patterns that offer discernible clues. It defies linguistic classification. Over the decades, many researchers have proposed various theories. Some believe it is a prayer book belonging to a secret sect that once existed in Central Europe, or that it is the secret record of an ancient religious community wishing to protect its secrets from the outside world. Some modern scholars, however, have questioned the manuscript's authenticity. They argue it could be a sophisticated hoax from the 19th century, created solely to challenge the curiosity and abilities of researchers. While the paper and ink have been dated to the 16th or 17th century, this doesn't rule out the possibility of a clever forgery during the 19th century. A famous example of such a hoax is the Voynich manuscript, another indecipherable medieval text, which has been suggested by some to be an elaborate fake. No matter its origin, the Rohonc Codex remains steadfast in guarding its secrets. Teams of linguists, cryptographers, and historians have poured immense effort into research, trying every technique from modern linguistic analysis to digital technology. Yet, the book still refuses to yield even a single line of meaning. The script within continues to defy the imagination of humanity. Today, as technology has enabled people to decode a multitude of ancient texts, from dead languages to messages hidden deep within the Egyptian pyramids, the Rohonc Codex remains an enigma that science has yet to solve. It stands as a profound testament to the limits of human deciphering capabilities, or perhaps to a level of secrecy that was perfectly executed. And like so many other great mysteries in history, this book reminds us all that no matter how advanced modern civilization becomes, there are still corners of the world that remain unanswered. The stone spheres of Costa Rica. Amidst the deep green tropical forests and the vast southern plains of Costa Rica, hundreds of strange stone spheres lie scattered like silent gatekeepers for a civilization that has vanished from the flow of history. Known as Las Bolas or the Diki spheres, these stone artifacts have puzzled archaeologists for nearly a century. Perfect in their geometry, yet utterly devoid of context, they stand as a monumental question mark in the archaeological record. The first stone spheres were discovered in the 1930s when workers were clearing land to plant bananas for the United Fruit Company. To the astonishment of the laborers, each stone orb, large and small, emerged from the earth. Some were only the size of a volleyball, but others were more than 2 meters in diameter and weighed up to 16 tons. They were carved from granodiorite, an extremely hard stone, using methods that even modern technology must admire for their roundness and polished surface. Although many archaeological sites suggest the spheres may have appeared from around the year 600 AD to the 16th century, not a single ancient record mentions the process of their creation or their actual role in ancient society. Archaeologists believe the spheres belong to the Dikis culture, a once flourishing civilization that disappeared without a trace before the Spanish ever set foot in this land. The most striking paradox of the Dikis spheres is the immense effort required for their creation and placement, contrasted with the complete absence of written records or definitive purpose. How could a society without metal tools or even the wheel create and move such enormous stones with such precision? The level of geometric perfection is extraordinary, suggesting a deep understanding of geometry and a highly organized workforce. Yet, unlike other ancient monumental structures, there are no accompanying inscriptions or structures that clearly explain their function or the beliefs of their creators. Many different theories have been proposed to explain the existence of these stone spheres. Some people believe they were symbols of power or the cosmos, and that they were arranged according to constellations as a kind of ancient astronomical calendar. Some researchers think the spheres marked the boundaries of settlements or were objects used in religious ceremonies. Recent discoveries in excavated settlements show that at times, the spheres were placed in front of the houses of the wealthy or chieftains to indicate their social status. However, all explanations remain speculation, as those who created the spheres left no written records or ancient texts behind. The fact that many spheres were moved in the 20th century by locals seeking gold, or simply for decoration, has unfortunately disrupted much of the archaeological context that might have provided clues. Over time, modern humans have unfortunately caused considerable damage to these stone spheres. Only in recent decades have the Costa Rican government and UNESCO begun to recognize the World Heritage value of the spheres and promote more serious efforts at conservation and research. Today, the stone spheres of Costa Rica are not only evidence of a lost ancient civilization, but also serve as a reminder of the patience, painstaking effort, and boundless creativity of people in the past. They pose great questions to both science and imagination. Are these spheres simply works of art? Or do they contain a message that future generations have yet to understand? Their legacy is a profound silence, a beautiful enigma that continues to inspire awe and speculation about the capabilities of our distant past. Doggerland, Europe's lost Atlantis. Imagine a distant time, about 10,000 years ago, when the North Sea was not an endless expanse of water, but a fertile land. That place was called Doggerland, a lost world that once connected England to continental Europe, a land so beautiful that many people have called it the Atlantis of Europe. Then, in a terrifying event, the sea levels rose, and a massive tsunami swallowed everything, leaving behind only vague stories beneath the ocean floor. Doggerland stretched from what is now Scotland to the Netherlands. It was a vast region of green meadows, winding rivers, dense forests, and flooded marshlands. Named after Doggerbank, a sandbank beneath the North Sea, this land was once a paradise for Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. They hunted mammoths, reindeer, and red deer, fished in lakes, and foraged for berries and chestnuts. But what happened to this beautiful land? When the last ice age ended, about the year 10,000 BC, melting ice caused sea levels to rise, gradually encroaching on the lowlands of Doggerland. Around 8,200 years ago, a giant tsunami triggered by the Storegga submarine landslide off the coast of Norway submerged much of Doggerland underwater. Some researchers believe that the northern regions of Doggerland may have survived for several more centuries thanks to the protection of hills and forests. But by the year 5,500 BC, the North Sea had swallowed all the remaining high ground. The central enigma of Doggerland is the complete erasure of its human habitation. Despite evidence of a thriving Mesolithic culture, no clear traces of villages or cities have yet been found. We have tantalizing hints, countless artifacts, mammoth tusks, flint tools, even fossilized footprints pulled up from the bottom of the North Sea. In the year 2019, researchers discovered a submerged forest here, fueling hope of finding settlements preserved beneath the mud. But the lack of structural remains suggests either that their settlements were made of perishable materials that simply dissolved, or that the overwhelming forces of the sea left nothing recognizable behind. The mystery of Doggerland has captivated both archaeologists and dreamers alike. Was this sunken land the Atlantis that the philosopher Plato described? Although this theory is controversial, Doggerland's vast plains are very similar to those in the legends of a lost civilization. Others see Doggerland as a warning, reminding us of the power of nature and the threat of climate change. For centuries, Doggerland was forgotten, known only when 19th century fishermen began hauling strange relics from the sea. Today, archaeologists use seismic data from oil companies to redraw the map of this land, while amateur treasure hunters scour Dutch beaches in search of fossils and tools. But the more that is discovered, the more questions arise. Was Doggerland merely a land bridge, or was it once a center of culture and trade in Mesolithic Europe? And what lesson does its disappearance hold for us as rising sea levels threaten today's coastal cities? The story of Doggerland is not just about a lost land. It is a haunting reminder of humanity's fragility before the forces of nature, and a challenge to uncover the secrets that still lie hidden beneath the North Sea. Its legacy is a stark warning about our own vulnerability to environmental shifts and a persistent question: how many other lost Atlantises lie buried beneath the waves, waiting to be rediscovered? The unfinished obelisk of Aswan. More than 3,500 years ago, in the fiery red granite quarries beside the Nile, the ancient Egyptians embarked on an ambitious mission to create a gigantic obelisk larger than any monument ever raised. But before this masterpiece could be completed, a mysterious crack forced it to be abandoned in the quarry, where it remains to this day. How could the ancients carve such a massive block of stone with only primitive tools? And why did they abandon such an ambitious project? Located in the northern quarry of Aswan, about 2 kilometers from the city center, the unfinished obelisk is the remnant of extraordinary ambition. It is believed to have been commissioned by Queen Hatshepsut during the 18th dynasty for placement at the Karnak Temple. If completed, this obelisk would have stood 75 meters tall, twice the height of standard obelisks like those at Karnak, and weighed about 1,200 tons, equivalent to 200 African elephants. It was carved directly from the red granite, the famous hard stone of Aswan. The obelisk has 3 faces already finished with smooth and precise lines. What makes this obelisk special are the clues it leaves behind about how the Egyptians carved and transported such enormous stones. Archaeologists have discovered that they used dolerite balls to pound and smooth the surfaces. To separate the obelisk from the bedrock, they drilled small holes along the cutting line and inserted dry wooden wedges, then poured water to make the wood expand and crack the stone along the intended path. A 2005 discovery at the Aswan quarry even found an unfinished obelisk base in rock carvings, suggesting this was the birthplace of many famous obelisks, such as Cleopatra's Needle in London and blocks used for the Giza pyramids. The most enduring paradox is the very crack that halted the project. According to records, a major crack appeared in the granite, causing the stoneworkers to give up the endeavor. But the story does not end with a single crack. Some scholars believe the crack may have resulted from quarrying errors, or perhaps the granite in this area had natural flaws. However, bolder theories have surfaced. The obelisk may be connected to a catastrophic event, such as an earthquake, or a major social disruption during Hatshepsut's reign. Some even speculate that this monument is the remnant of a more advanced civilization, with obelisks serving as space antennas linked to the constellations. While there is no scientific evidence for this, such ideas continue to circulate, especially as archaeologists have noted that the obelisk was designed to resemble the Benben, the primordial mound in Egyptian creation mythology, where the sun god Atum stood to create the world. Another mystery is the scale of the project. With a weight of 1,200 tons, this obelisk would have been the largest stone ever handled by the Egyptians. How did they plan to transport it over 200 kilometers to Karnak, when the boats on the Nile could hardly bear such weight? Records suggest they used wooden rafts and took advantage of the summer floods to move the stone, but there are no specific accounts for this particular obelisk. Some scholars believe Hatshepsut's ambition may have surpassed the technical capabilities of her time. Yet, the fact that 3 sides of the obelisk were nearly finished shows they came very close to success before the crack appeared. This suggests that the technical challenges were perhaps surmountable, leading to speculation that something more than a mere geological flaw was at play. Was there something else, such as a curse or a political event, that brought the project to a halt? The lack of clear historical documentation regarding the abandonment fuels further theories, including a sudden collapse of Hatshepsut's power or a shifting focus to other monumental projects. The unfinished obelisk of Aswan stands as a testament to the boldness of the ancient Egyptians, but it is also a reminder that even the greatest civilizations have their limits. Is the crack in the granite simply a sign of a technical mistake, or a warning sent by the gods? Its legacy is a powerful symbol of ambition thwarted, a monumental what-if from ancient history, and a constant source of wonder for those who gaze upon its colossal form. The Kailasa Temple, thousands of years ago, when humanity still knew nothing of modern machines, a miracle of architecture was carved out of solid rock in India, Kailasa Temple. Hidden within the Ellora Cave complex, it is not only a monumental structure, but also a mystery that challenges everything we think we know about the capabilities of ancient people. This isn't a building, it's a mountain transformed, an epic poem etched in stone. Nestled in the Sahyadri Hills of Maharashtra, India, Kailasa Temple is the largest monolithic stone structure in the world. Unlike the Egyptian pyramids, which were built from millions of blocks stacked together, Kailasa was carved entirely from a single massive basalt rock. Its dimensions are twice that of the Parthenon in Athens. The structure stands over 30 meters high, stretches 300 meters long, and spans 175 meters wide, all surrounded by a U-shaped courtyard plunging 50 meters deep. What astonishes people most is the method of construction. The craftsmen started from the mountaintop and cut downward, a technique that goes against all conventional building practices. They removed more than 400,000 tons of rock using nothing but simple hammers and chisels, creating a temple with unbelievably intricate carvings. Every corner of Kailasa Temple is a work of art. The stone walls are covered with carvings depicting Shiva, Vishnu, and other deities. One of the most outstanding reliefs shows the demon king Ravana trying to lift Mount Kailasa, the abode of Shiva, which is considered a masterpiece of Indian art. Archaeologists have even discovered more than 30 million Sanskrit characters carved into the rock, most of which remain untranslated. Could these inscriptions be hiding a message from the past? According to historians, Kailasa Temple was built in the 8th century under the reign of King Krishna I of the Rashtrakuta dynasty. A local legend tells that the queen prayed to Shiva to cure her husband's illness and vowed to fast until she could see the temple's tower completed. To save her, an architect named Kokasa promised to finish the top of the temple within a week by starting to carve from the top down. This legend may be only folklore, but one thing is certain: the Kailasa Temple was completed at a staggering pace, in just 18 years. How could such a gigantic structure have been finished so quickly with the technology of that era? But the mystery does not end there. Some researchers believe Kailasa may be far older than we think. Could a civilization more than 1,200 years ago really achieve such a feat with only hammers and chisels? Some bold theories propose that the temple could be the product of a forgotten advanced civilization, or even linked to technologies far beyond our understanding. Traces of drilling on the stone and almost perfectly straight cuts have led some to speculate about the involvement of alien technology. Another theory suggests that Kailasa was the result of large-scale collaboration between artisans from many different regions. Archaeologists believe that craftsmen from the Chalukya and Pallava dynasties contributed South Indian architectural styles to the project. Yet even this theory cannot explain why there are no traces of large construction tools or nearby quarry sites. Was the knowledge required to build Kailasa passed down through generations, or was it lost along with its creators? Strangely enough, Kailasa Temple was once nearly destroyed. In the 17th century, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb ordered 1,000 men to demolish the temple. After 3 years of effort, they succeeded only in making a few scratches and destroying some small statues before giving up. The hardness of the basalt and the solidity of the structure made this attempt a complete failure. Kailasa Temple stands as a testament to human power and creativity, or perhaps to something even greater. But like many other mysteries in history, Kailasa keeps its secrets locked away, challenging us to continue searching for the truth hidden deep within the stone. Its legacy is a breathtaking example of what ancient humans could achieve, and a persistent question about the true limits of their ingenuity. The Rock Lake Pyramids. Thousands of years ago, when dense forests and grasslands still covered what is now Wisconsin, a mysterious civilization is said to have built stone pyramids deep beneath the waters of Rock Lake. Near the town of Lake Mills, the Rock Lake Pyramids have become one of the most controversial archaeological mysteries in America. Are they a forgotten wonder or a geological illusion? The story begins in the year 1900, when brothers Claude and Lee Wilson, out duck hunting, discovered strange stone formations at the bottom of Rock Lake. They describe these structures as resembling pyramids or mounds rising from the lake's floor, nearly 18 meters deep. But it wasn't until the year 1936, when diver Victor Taylor went public with his claim of having seen 3 or 4 underwater pyramids, that the mystery really caught attention. Taylor even hired 3 young men to dive with him, and one reported seeing hieroglyphic-like symbols on the stones, though the other 2 could not confirm it. According to reports, these blocks were about 6 meters tall, 6 meters wide, and stacked with mortar like artificial structures. Curiously, Rock Lake is just 5 kilometers from the Aztlan site, a major Mississippian cultural center with earthen mounds. Could these pyramids be connected to Aztlan, or are they the legacy of an entirely different civilization? The mystery of the Rock Lake Pyramids comes from the conflict between the claims of discoverers and scientific evidence. Supporters like Frank Joseph Collins, author of The Lost Pyramids of Rock Lake, believe these are pyramids built by the Aztecs or some ancient civilization when lake levels were lower. Some modern sonar reports have described pyramid-shaped, conical, and even human-shaped structures up to 60 meters long at the bottom of the lake. However, former Wisconsin state archaeologist Bob Birmingham calls such claims nonsense. According to him, these are just natural rock piles left by glaciers 10,000 years ago. Rock Lake was formed by glaciers, and its bottom is filled with rounded boulders, not human-made structures. But if these are only natural stones, why do divers and sonar devices repeatedly detect symmetrical shapes? The purpose of these pyramids is also an unresolved question. Victor Taylor once believed they were altars to the rain god built by the Aztecs during a drought when water levels were low. Another theory suggests they are the remains of an ancient city similar to Cahokia, a major Mississippian cultural center in Illinois. Nearby Aztlan, with its pyramid-shaped earthen mounds dating from the 11th to 13th centuries, is thought to have been Cahokia's northern outpost. Could the structures beneath Rock Lake be an extension of Aztlan, drowned by rising water? Or are they relics of a civilization never recorded in history, as some native legends tell of an underwater city? Yet to this day, no artifacts or cultural evidence have been found to support any of these theories. Sonar surveys by diver Rick Kruger indicate that the lake bottom shows very little sign of human activity, unlike other Madison area lakes. Still, pyramid theorists continue to report large, distinct structures using modern sonar. One major challenge is that underwater conditions in Rock Lake make verification extremely difficult. Furthermore, Frank Joseph Collins himself has faced controversy and criticism for lacking clear scientific evidence. The fate of the Rock Lake pyramids only adds to the intrigue. Though not recognized by mainstream science, they have become a cultural symbol in Lake Mills, appearing on the town logo, in business names, and at community events. Explorations from free diving in the 1930s to modern sonar technology have yet to provide any convincing proof. Today, Rock Lake remains a popular destination for fishing and boating, but the pyramids are still out of reach for mainstream archaeology. Some even link them to theories about ancient aliens, though there is no scientific basis for such ideas. Will future efforts finally solve this mystery, or will Rock Lake forever keep its secrets beneath the water? Thank you for joining me in exploring these incredible mysteries. If you found these strange and fascinating stories as captivating as I did, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on our next adventures together. The world is full of untold stories, and together we'll continue to seek them out. See you in the next video.